My name is Sam Gellaitry. I'm 27 years old. I started making music when I was 12. Actually, I started sampling when I was 10. My brother moved from Edinburgh to a place called Stirling. There was a group of his friends making like dance music, kind of happy hardcore stuff, like quite heavy stuff. And they basically made songs on this software called Acid Pro. So this is around 2008, 2009. So he was probably about 14, 15 doing this. He's 5 years older than me. And around that time I'd heard Daft Punk for the first time. And that's the exact same time that YouTube came about. So when I heard the name Daft Punk, I was also a massive Star Wars fan. So I seen these like robots making crazy songs. So I was like, I want to try this. So around that time I was using my brother's software to make like French house stuff, sampling old disco records, looking for old stuff. That was when I was like 10. I wasn't that good at it, but my brother kept talking about FL Studios. And the first time I loaded it up, I made this beat, I put all these patterns into Acid Pro and kind of like structured it there. I've been using that software since I was 12. Got discovered when I was 17, 10 years ago this year, so it's been crazy, man. 15 years making music on the same software. So more than half my life, it's mad. Yeah. When I got discovered on SoundCloud, I got discovered by people that I didn't even know existed, like even artists, which I wasn't aware of. I didn't know about selection that much until like 3 months before I got discovered by them. It's just the right place at the right time. So it just chucked me in this full world of like new sounds, new artists. It was like a playground, bro. Just, you can make a song, put an artwork on it, put it up, like reaching loads of people immediately. I wish it came back like that. I guess TikTok's kind of a similar thing to that now, but it's kind of different where like you could be famous on TikTok for showing people how to make music, but SoundCloud was so mysterious. That's partly why like someone like me from like the middle of nowhere in Scotland could get discovered, because it wasn't about identity, it was about sound. And I miss that a lot, for sure. I realised I obviously love disco because they're referencing disco and that's the root of it. It's like very hypnotic because it's quite repetitive and stuff. Yeah, it's just like capturing a feeling and extending it and then not overcooking it. It's like simplicity but with like all the right elements that need to be there. That's kind of what happened in my career as well, because I used to make more experimental stuff. Even my switch to like singing and things, it's all about taking the best element, like prolonging them out. Assumptions, for example, is quite a good example. It's not necessarily French house, but it's got the same mentality as like certain songs from that era. Daft Punk, Justice, Mr. Oizo, especially Oizo because he was the weird one, and that inspired my experimental stuff. I show it to everyone to see their reaction, so I really admire his work. I love Mr. Flash as well. He's more like the hip hop side of Ed Banger. Vanguard as well. There was this compilation called Millennium Disco, and it had like Cherokee, it had Gene Tonic, all these people, right? I was exposed to a lot of the stuff there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have something.
Yeah? Oh boy.
This thing?
What's the price on this, bro? 89. Do you know these came out they were £5. Yeah, even $10.99, that's quite, we put these on the website for £5. This is the first official one, yeah. I worked with a guy called Daniel Diaz-Granados and he made this artwork. And it was just a column, and I was looking at it like trying to find meaning in the column, and I knew I wanted to put an EP out straight away after. So even this artwork, like the way this stands is what evoked the columns after it. This artwork is for it being escapism, like you pull it out, the artwork reveals itself. Yeah. And it's like the same at the back, like it's like the full photo. But yeah, this is 18-year-old Sam signing to one of his favourite record labels. This is probably the rarest one. Did you pay €89 for this?
More.
Shut up. What? I was escaping reality when I made it in the music industry. Yeah. Because I thought my reality would be working a job, which would not be good. I always have these arguments with friends where it's like, people are like, Sam, you work hard. I'm like, obviously the hours are a bit crazy and like flights all the time can get a lot, but this isn't work, this is like a dream. So I was trying to document how I felt. And even Escapism, the sound progresses the more I was doing shows as well. So like Escapism 2 is more club friendly, I think. This one's a bit more like weird. All right, Sam. You can hear how hyperactive I was. But then the third one's kind of both combined, I think. The third one's definitely my favorite. Yeah, I'm very happy with it. Even just starting that at 18 and then finishing up at like 21. Yeah, and it just depicts different parts of my life when I was younger. It's like diary entries almost. It's crazy. When I made Viewfinder Volume 1, it was the same time I made Assumptions. But I didn't sit in that project at all. I was just always experimenting with it. Even like Long Distance, at the very end, I'm singing at the end of the track, doing this little light thing. I've always kind of been toying with it, but I wasn't really interested in listening to songs, so I wasn't really wanting to make them. I've always been a fan of people who do like production of their own vocal stuff. I think when Toro dropped Boo Boo, that album, that made me really want to sing. The more I wanted to say stuff, the more space I left for my own vocals and like storytelling, pretty much. Apart from explanation, that's kind of like the vocals are at the front, but things like Fall, it's quite subtle. It's just like one line. And the same with Never Knew Love Like This, it's like one line. And I had to wait to get my accent on the tracks as well. Because Duo has my accent in it quite thick. But I didn't want to put out a track which sounded like fully American accent. That's kind of a thing in Scotland as well, because we're quite proud of our accent. So a lot of people who are like from Scotland and they sing an American accent, they kind of like, oh, he doesn't like being Scottish kind of thing. You want it to be as authentic as possible. I think making the music's been the easiest bit. The hard part is like realizing that there's an industry behind everything and like management, like a lot of industry things that are just like shady, strange things that happen that people aren't aware of. That's difficult, especially when you're like 17 and you're not, you don't want anyone to tell you what to do kind of thing. Yeah, even weird stuff like financial things, like you're running a business when you have a career like this. It's quite hard to do that whilst you're trying to be an artist. And that's how you get these people that come in. I'm not saying that everyone's going to do that, but people are aware that artists are like all over the place. There's very genuine people here, but like it's like that in any workforce. I think that's just life itself. The lack of routine, that's difficult. Like I basically decide when I wake up, what I do, this and that. I'm not as disciplined as I should be. Everything's fun, you know what I mean? But that can get to the point where you're like, oh gosh. Even tonight, what other job starts at like, apart from like night shifts, start at like 2:30, end at 4, you know what I mean? It's quite a unique sleeping pattern I've developed over the last 10 years, but but here we are. Apart from that, it's a blessing, you know what I mean? I don't want to complain too much because that's just minor in the grand scheme of everything. Basically, most of my life, I actually prayed to be a DJ as well, so I'm a big believer in God. So the way I see it is like all my life has revolved around like creating things. But see, music as well is like this, it's like this not tangible force, but you can feel it. Like the creating things, like I was created by a creator to create things for other creations to try and improve the creator. And it's this kind of loop cycle thing. It sounds quite weird, it's like a mouthful, but that's my mentality on life, really. And it's the same thing as like, if I can do it, everyone else can do it. And that you need to believe in yourself as well as, that's more like a moral or like a philosophical mindset of like what I think's going on. But even the fact I used to pray every single night that I would become a DJ, and it's been granted to me. So that's the other thing about it. I probably should talk about it more, but like I don't take ownership for all the stuff that's happened to me. All this crazy stuff's happened in my life, so if I was to take ownership for all the amazing blessings that have happened to me, I think I'd be a bit arrogant. So to me, I'm just giving the glory back. And I'm just very thankful and feel very blessed for the life. Yeah. It's personal, but I put it in my songs quite a lot.
There is a term that comes up very, very often.
Yeah.
A lot.
Love.
And feelings.
Yeah. That's crazy. Crazy because I have got a song called Love Feelings. It's as if you knew, an unreleased one. Sometimes I don't really want to hear a song that's making me feel like charged up. We all experience like emotions towards other people, right? So that's quite a blanket thing which I can hopefully intercept for anyone to hear, do you know what I mean? If I'm like on the mic going, yeah, I grew up in Scotland doing this and that, oh, I don't get to sleep at the right time, who's that going to relate to, do you know what I mean? It's quite alienating. That doesn't make for good lyrics because it's a specific thing. So I'm just like, what can I share with everyone else which I feel like everyone else is going to talk about? I don't think it's going to always be like that, but for me, it's also quite therapeutic to talk about stuff like that. I'm not going to make my full career about that, but I will reference like something where it's been my upbringing to an extent. I don't know, I just like talking about love, man. So even with my pals, even with my boys, I like talking about like things that have just happened, like in a certain relationship thing. It's exciting to me, so I think that's another part of it. Like I like that feeling, and it's not as alienating as other things could be. So yeah.
And what is the definition of love for you?
It's that chesty shit. It's like the indescribable feeling. That's my answer. It's kind of like a backwards answer though, but you can't describe it. Okay. And if you can't describe it, that's probably what we're talking about. You know, I never plan stuff.
Yeah.
I never have. I'm working on my album now, I hope to get it out this year. I hope to have the next one out in the next year. Just more music, I think, and more visual stuff. I want to start making like, probably more outlets of art, so like more movie things. Been watching a lot more films and I'm getting really into that kind of like, the thought of directing my own music videos. I don't really want to do like, I kind of want to have stories. Like little short films that I'm soundtracking kind of thing. So I really want to like go in on that this year and then just expand on that. Oh yeah, the album's coming out soon, hopefully. Well, the show tonight's gonna be great. I have a residency in London coming up soon, in Phonox, so like every 4 weeks. I'm gonna do an OG SoundCloud night as well, so I'm gonna get some legends in there. Lots of fun things happening. Yeah, shout outs to the Monolithe project. Thanks for having me. Peace.